What does 1 year on the GLP-1 GIP Zepbound look like? Stay tuned to find out.
In our appearance driven social system, toxic productivity and diet culture are considered especially heinous. In Denver, Colorado, a dedicated goal getter seeking to crush these vicious lies is the founder of an elite squad known as Heal Thy Spirit. These are her stories.
Hello, it's Tia here from Denver. I am going to finally, a month after the day of this recording is May 27th, but I do have several videos lined up to follow this week. So you'll get a lot of Tia this week. Um, this is actually the recap video of my first year on Zepbound. And I wanted to try to make it as brief as possible. So I did create a slide deck um, that will hopefully keep me on track and keep everything to a minimum. I am, if this is your first time here, my name is Tia. I live in Denver, Colorado. And I started Zepbound on April 21st of 2024. And this recap video goes through April 20th of 2025. And I think I did include some information about my last week of April or last 10 days of April this year, just to kind of button everything up. And then you'll be getting a May summary update at the end of this week to show how things have gone this month. All right, so let's get started. I am going to share my screen. All right, so you should be able to see me there. Let me move this out of the way because I don't know if that's there. So I apologize if you can't see my face in the little corner like you typically would be able to if you're doing if I'm doing a PowerPoint presentation, but I actually made this in Canva. So it looks a little bit different. So this is, the cover, and it says I spent 1 year on Zepbound. Here's what happened. I did not take a starting picture. The only picture I could find in my phone of the early days was this picture that I took, which would have been like a week after being on Zepbound, the April 28th, 2024. And it looks weird because I had to kind of scoot down so that the top of my head showed in the camera photo. But essentially, this is what my body looked like on a week after starting Zepbound. And you'll see in a moment that I didn't really lose any weight. So I'm quite sure this is exactly how my body looked on April 21st of 2024 when I started Zepbound. And this picture actually truly was taken on April 20th of 2025. So that would have been exactly 1 year after my first shot. All right. So this one, there's kind of this is basically my Renfo scale results. Um, this is an older picture. You've seen probably cover photos or whatever, but I'm not sure exactly what my weight was at this time. This picture I took when I was in San Diego, so that's why the quality is not bad. I mean, not good. I was in the hotel room, and it was a Sunday, I believe March 31st. So I needed to make sure that I had a photo for that day. I was out of town for my new job. And so, but you can visibly see, even though I'm wearing wide leg jeans, you can see that I'm definitely smaller in this photo than I was in this photo. So here are all the results according to the Renfo scale. And I did weigh myself every single day because I like numbers. And we'll talk about the DEXA scan results on the next slide, but I did not start that in the beginning of the adventure. So, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So these are the actual screenshots from the Renfo scale results. And you can see that I lost a total from my starting weight of 240.8 to 185.2, which is what I weighed on April 20th, 2025. So I lost a total of 55.6 pounds. My BMI dropped from 39.2 to 29.9, which is a reduction of 9.3. My body fat percentage, according to the scale, went down 14.2% and 54.6 pounds of body fat. So that is, this weight, I believe, is, well, I don't know. I guess it's the same math, but here, according to the scale, I did lose 1 pound of muscle. I guess it's how that is attributed. But I lost, my body fat percentage went down 14.2%. Subcutaneous fat down 11.4%. My body water increased 9.7%. My skeletal muscle went up 8.3%. My metabolic age went down 1 year, but it still says that I'm 51 and I'm actually 46, and I'm not buying it, which I'll talk about in a future video because I got a new scale from Renfo, and we'll talk about those results in episodes to come. But let's just say that scale has me at a different age, and the age on the new scale actually matches my Aura Ring age as well. So take that for what you will. My BMR, or actually, let me go in the order here. My fat-free mass went down 0.8 pounds. And so I started at, if you look at this slide here, or this metric here, my fat-free body mass started at 117.4 pounds and ended up at 116.6 pounds. So that's where that 1 pound of muscle, or the 0.8 pounds of muscle, comes into play. Bone mass, obviously, it says plus 0.9%, but I mean, your bones don't really, gain or lose weight. It's just the percentage, because my total body mass changed. So how much my bones account for, it was still 7 pounds back then, and it's 7 pounds now. But because my total body mass, my total weight went down, that percentage of bone mass is higher than it was a year ago, if that makes any sense. Protein is listed here because it's where it needs to be in the green, 14.1%, or 26.2 pounds, whereas when I started, it was at 9.9% and 23.8 pounds. So almost 3 more pounds of muscle. I'm sorry, not muscle, protein in my body, which is a significantly higher percentage since my body weight went down. And then the BMR says that I gained or earned an additional, that's the basal metabolic rate. So basically what your body or how many calories your body burns, literally when you're doing nothing, not at rest, but just for you to stay alive. So in the beginning, it was at 1,511 calories, and now it's at 1,518 calories, or at least as of April 20th, 2025, which is an increase of 7 calories per day. Is that so? It takes based on the increase in muscle is where I think I can account for, because if you have more muscle, then you burn more calories. And so because my muscle mass increased overall, comparative to my total mass, just being alive, I burn more calories than before. All right, so there's that. So here are the DEXA scan results. And with regard to the DEXA scan, I did not start getting those until July 27th was my first DEXA scan. I wish I had known that this was a thing prior to going, or right when I first started Zepbound, but I didn't know. So once I knew, I found out. But according to this, from in this time frame, so from August, and these are pictures that are from that particular time frame, This was taken August of 2024. These are the closest to my DEXA scan date. So I wanted to show how my body weight and composition changed and how I appear in pictures relative to the DEXA scan results. So, and I wore the same outfit, but I had to get rid of these leggings because they are way too big now. And this is just a screenshot of a video that you will see with me doing one of my workouts. But I didn't, for whatever reason, I guess because of the travel, I didn't take a progress photo at the end of April. So I just went with this. I just, pulled this out of the video so that you could see the noticeable difference from February to April or the end of April. So in this photo, I was roughly 221 pounds and 107.5 of that was fat and 106.8 of that was lean mass, which is just muscle and fluids and things like that. And then this has my bone mass at 6.7 pounds, which is very close to the Renfo scale, which, has me at 7 pounds. And then my total fat-free weight, 113.4 pounds. So actually, I said that wrong. 106.8, that is lean muscle mass. 113.4 includes bones and muscle. Yeah, I guess if you add those together, that's what you'll get. You'd think I'd know, as I've had 4 of these now, but going off the cuff, and there's not going to be any edits because I really want to get this video up today. So with regard to in December, so from July to December, which is roughly what I look like in this picture, and you can see my waist is down a little bit, but and my muscles are bigger in my arms. But this shows a reduction from 48.7 to 41.5, and you can go back and watch. I did a deep dive for these two DEXA scan results. I did not do one for the April 29th, but I guess I'll cover that when I do my DEXA scan update because I do have another one scheduled for this Friday, May 30th. So I'll just do that update from April 29th to May 30th and give you an update there. So as you can see, I don't want to linger on this because you can read and you can see. The long story short is that my total weight in pounds from the 221 back in July to April 29th, so it's cutting off, a few months there, I lost 33.2 pounds total. My body fat percentage went down 13.7%. And 41.8% of my fat mass. So that's basically when you take this 107.5 and subtract out the 65.7, which is how much fat, how many pounds in fat my body was composed of on April 29th, 41.8. And that's a drastic difference and another opportunity for me to insert. If the scale is not going down, do not fret or if it's not going down fast enough, because the scale is not capturing what percentage of fat and what percentage of muscle you're losing. Even with those body composition scales, they are not exact. Even the DEXA scan is not exact, but it's the gold standard of body composition. So this is the closest you're going to get if you are able to have one of these. My fat-free mass increased 8.8 pounds, which is just a different way of saying this. So if you add together that 33.2 plus 8.8, you get 42 pounds total loss, roughly, which is where this negative 41.8 pounds comes from. And that's a gain of muscle mass of 8.7 pounds from July to April. So that's July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. So in 9 months, I gained 8.7 pounds. I don't know what the numbers were before then, and we'll talk about how my experimental month in May went. but we'll save that for later. All right. So these are some non-scale victories. I just put in a photo here of this. You may have seen this on the when I did a video, one of my update videos at the end of last year. But this dress is one that I bought for my high school reunion, and I really thought that I looked great in that dress. Which I mean, I guess I looked fine, but on a whim, I grabbed it out of my closet and put it on one day. And so here I'm wearing Spanx. I've got all kinds of things. You see the girls are popping out. It's just, this is what I looked like. This is the exact same outfit. I just have my underwear and probably a sports bra on because I always wear a sports bra because I'm always working out. But this is me from October of, it was my 10-year high school. So 2007, this would have been in 2007. And this was closer to my highest weight. And then this was in November of 2024. So some other non-scale victories in May of 2024, a month later, I was already removing a link for my watch chain. At that time, I had a Fitbit, and I had one of those fancy little watch chains because the little rubber chain that comes with it is so gross, or silicone, I guess. It gets disgusting. So I had swapped it out with something when I got off Amazon. In June of 2024, I hit 70,000 steps in a week, and I was not on vacation. That particular week, I ran the Hot Chocolate Run 5K in October of 2024. I upped my strength training in November of 2024. As you know, I've been working out for years before I ever started Zepbound, but it started to get very easy. So I didn't stop doing the workouts I was doing with my Fit Squad friends who you hear me talk about all the time on here. But in addition to those workouts, I downloaded the Trainwell app. There's a video coming on that and was able to, really step up my strength game. And I already talked about my reunion dress in November of 2024. In December, my kids bought me some leggings from Lululemon because they know that $100 leggings is not, it's not in the budget, but it's also not something that I would even if it were in the budget, that would not be what I would be spending my money on, is $100 leggings. And they were a size 12 and they fit perfectly. They're actually getting to be too big now, but I love them. I hate that I love them because, I guess it's you get what you pay for. And I don't know, maybe I'll, keep watching the clearance or whatever because they are really amazing. But those are some non-scale victories that I actually documented on my little spreadsheet. So which dose was best? This slide talks about how I basically went down and broke down how long I was on each dose and my weekly average weight loss per dose. I was on 2.5, named the starter dose, only for 4 weeks. I lost a total of 3.4 pounds in that 4 weeks, which is a weekly average of 0.85, which is actually better than I thought I had done in hindsight. But, that's still a good loss because oftentimes on the starter dose, people report not losing anything. On 5 milligrams, I stayed on that for 8 weeks. Lost a total of 12.8 pounds during that 8 weeks, which is the weekly average of 1.6. 7.5, I lost a total of 9.2 pounds in 8 weeks, which is an average of 1.15. Then I skipped a week because that was the week that I had my colonoscopy and I had to have the medicine out of my system for 2 full weeks. So essentially and that's also when I changed my shot day from Sunday to Friday. So what I did was the Friday before I was supposed to have my colonoscopy, I took my last shot of 7.5 because my colonoscopy was on a Friday. So that would be 2 weeks in between. And so I went ahead and took it on that Friday so that I could have 14 days from my last shot, but only skip one shot. And then when I got home from the colonoscopy, I took that shot and then started taking it on Fridays from there on out. But these are still weekly weigh-ins on Sunday. So on 10, I lost a total of 3.6 pounds. Being that first week, I had actually gained some. And in hindsight, I don't think I gave 10 a chance long enough. There's more to come on my thoughts on that. But in the 4 weeks that I was 110, I lost total of 3.6, which is a weekly average of 0.9. And then the reason that I skipped the next week was because I did not want to refill 10. You all know, or maybe you don't, but I'll let you know here that I do pay for Zepbound out of pocket. It is not covered by my insurance. I am grandfathered into the old coupon that allows me to pay $5.50 a month for it. But I did not want to spend another $5.50 on and 4 weeks on 10, which, like I said, in hindsight, I should have given it at least 4 more weeks because I did lose. It wasn't like I wasn't losing anything, but here we are. Then I moved up to 12.5. 12.5 was my favorite dose. And I thought, until I did these numbers, that this was the dose that I lost the most weight on, which technically it is because I lost 15.4 pounds, but that was over 12 weeks, not 8 weeks, which was the longest I had been on any other dose prior. So, I mean, in all reality, I probably didn't give 5 long enough either, but I remember being ravenously hungry at the end of the 8 weeks. And that was the reason for me and my doctor decided to move me up to 7.5 after 8 weeks because I was just starting. And kind of the same thing. I remember when I started 7.5, I was like, 7.5 is no joke. Like that first 2 weeks, I struggled, to get the food in. But then, of course, my body got used to it. And towards the end of the 8th week, the decision was made to go ahead and bump up to 10. And so 15.5, I lost 1.28 pounds. And you guys like how I tried to color code it, like the actual doses on the vial. So to kind of keep it straight. And then 15. So 15 rounded out my time on my first year on Zepbound. Sorry, I can't think. And I've been on 15 for 16 weeks as of the dates going through this video. That is a total of 54 weeks that I've been on Zepbound, which I don't even understand how that math, but I guess 365 days a year divided by 7 days a week is 52 and some change. But I did take 52 shots in the last year. I don't understand. Oh, maybe because I changed my date from my shot date from Friday from Sunday to Friday. So maybe that is what accounts for, how I was able to get 54 weeks in there with skipping 2, because there's really 52 and some change in a year, and add in that extra week. So anyway, there's that. So really, I don't know that there is a best dose. Everybody has different feelings about it. Like I said, 12.5 was the one that I stayed on the longest before 15. And as you get closer to your goal or to a healthy body weight, that is when the weight loss starts to slow down because you don't have as much to lose, and you have to either, reduce the calories that you're eating or up the exercise that you're doing, and in order to kind of get the same result. So all in all, with that reduction of 55.4 pounds, 54 total weeks, I averaged 1.03 pounds per week, which is right where you should be. That is like normal, healthy weight loss. So So yeah, there's that. All right. So here's the summary as we wrap it up. My starting weight was 240.8 with a current weight at the time of this photo, 185.2. That's a reduction of 55.6 pounds after 1 year on the shot. And actually, I know where that extra shot came from because I took my last shot on April, at the end of April. So, which is after this. So I included those results in this slide. So that's why it shows 54 weeks, because I did include, because I wanted to get the full box in of the 3 boxes of 15. And so technically 55.4 accounts for an extra week. So it is what it is. 23% total body weight reduced, which is right in line with the original trials. In a year's time, I was able to reduce my total body weight by 23% of my starting weight. And you just get that by taking the amount lost at 55.6 and dividing that by your starting weight of 240.8, which gives me 23.0897, blah, blah, blah. So there we are. Inches lost. This is crazy. So my total inches lost, meaning all over my body, was 58.3 inches. I don't do measurements very often, or not even monthly, but I did do them on April 21st, and I did do them on April 20th of 2025. So I know that overall, my entire body, I lost 58.3 inches. My waist is the craziest reduction of 47.75 to 31.69, which is 16 inches lost around my waist. Insane. My chest, you can definitely see in this photo, 46.88 inches was where I started. And I ended on April 20th at 38.77. So that's a loss of 8 inches around my chest, which put me from a bra size of 38G, pictured here, to 32 triple D. So like I can buy bras in normal store. Kind of. That's another video for another day too. My dress size went from like an 18-20. Actually did have some 22s, but not at the point where I started Zepbound. I put 8, 10, 12 because everywhere is different. So I do still have some 12s, like the Lululemons that I can fit into. I think my true real size right now, if I were to go into a mall and try on something, would be a 10. But there's a couple of things that I got off the Temu before all the trade stuff started that are 8, 10 that fit me perfectly. My BMI, again, this is take it with a grain of salt because it just goes by height and doesn't account for muscle and all of that. But it's still a great victory to have something say that my BMI went from 39.2 obese to 29.9, which is just overweight. So that is my 1 year summary. I'm going to stop sharing here. And that is really all that I have for you today. So I thank you for taking the time to watch this. And I don't know what time frame I'm on, but hopefully it wasn't too long. I'm not going to edit. So you'll just see the regular intro in the beginning, you'll see the video, and then you'll see this. But stay tuned. If you have not already, definitely like and subscribe, because I promise there will be at least 4 videos coming out before this time next week. Because they're already recorded, but I wanted to get this one out before I picked up and started giving you updates about where I've gone from here. So do not forget to heal thy spirit for a healthy spirit, and may grace and peace be yours in abundance. Take care.